my name is Hinds. This is Greenhouse 2, and it is part of Urbana's utility box mural program.
My name is EKAH. I'm a local artist living in Mohammed, and this is my piece called Convergent Evolution, and it was selected for 2021 Urbana Utility Box Mural.
My name is CONVERGENT Grantham.
And my name is Stacy Robinson.
And we're BLACKMAU. And this is our piece, Guild Trip, which is a part of the Urbana Mural Utility Box program.
My name is Rachel Storm. I work as the City of Urbana's Arts and Culture Coordinator. I'm out here celebrating the 2021 Urbana Utility Box Mural Program. This is the first ever year that we've had our Urbana Utility Box murals. We premiered 3 new murals this year. This one is Greenhouse 2 by Hinds. All of these murals really work to not only beautify the city, but to offer artists a chance to have their work out in public and to be viewed by the citizens of Urbana.
Greenhouse 2 started with actually the inspiration of aerial shots of farmland and how the land is divided up. And then from there it kind of creates a story where I cut the pieces to create a more architectural sense where land gets replaced by building, which is kind of a journey and story that happens as we build communities and build cities. So I wanted to have that journey and story within the piece. So here you can see like little windows and different kind of scenes from an architectural building or home. And within that, I put a lot of nature kind of growing outside of the home. So the idea of bringing outside in and how necessary it is to connect with nature and our world around us.
Okay, so this piece was one of the watercolor series I did in 2018, and the whole series was based on the concept of pareidolia, which is, you find recognizable shapes in a completely unrelated pattern or object. And so this was actually started with random blobs on watercolor paper. And then I stared at it long enough to see these weird shapes, and then basically drew them as I saw them. And I drew the dark lines with ink. And so the shapes kind of dictated what these things were going to look like. Of course, I had to fill in the void where I couldn't see anything, and then I just made up whatever was there. And I realized as I was drawing these shapes, they were somewhat aquatic in nature, and so the title actually came after the drawing was finished. And I thought, this is not based on real, creatures. So it seemed like an appropriate title for the piece.
So Stacy and I have done some collaborations. So it would start with like some collages. This project started, I would start with a collage, and then I would send it on to Stacy, and he would collage into what I've done. And so this is just a combination of both of our work.
So CONVERGENT and I are BLACKMAU. My art alias is Black Star, and CONVERGENT's art alias DJ CONVERGENT. And we've lived in 4 of the same places, some of those places at the same time, which is really odd. We're of the same era. So CONVERGENT is also one of my awesome DJ mentors. And we also found out that, like myself, CONVERGENT is a collage artist. So when he showed me some of his pieces a few years ago, we're like, we should work on a series together and think about all of these overlaps that we have. And this is one of our initial 9-part series of our first series, and then we're working on our second series now.
Well, pretty self-explanatory. It's the idea of like kind of this greenery overflowing and coming out of the windowscapes. So just like a greenhouse, there's just vines like kind of crawling up the windows and just feeling the sun and getting nurtured. So that's kind of the title of the piece.
One of the things that I love about this piece by Megan Hinds is her work is extremely architectural. In person and live, this piece is actually very three-dimensional. And while when we print it on adhesive vinyl and put it on a utility box, it does become less flattened in a sense, but I really notice that when we have it here, you actually still see that three-dimensional feature. So it gives still that illusion of how three-dimensional her work is. It's really beautiful, brilliant work. We have lots of color that's been added through this program, and I'm so delighted with what the artists have been able to do.
One of the amazing things about Urbana is the way Urbana tries to reach out to different groups, different populations, different demographics, and I'm so grateful for the different ways that this outreach expresses itself through art, through the Mural program. And as a relatively recently added arts commissioner, I am amazed at all the different things.
This is a piece by local artist EKAH, and what I love about this piece is that it actually is so completely fitting for the pool. It has a very aquatic quality to it. We were so excited to choose it for this site. It's colorful, and what I want to say about EKAH's process, and she's an artist I've known for a while and been able to have her featured at things like our Young Artist Studio programs and other things that we do as part of the Urbana Arts and Culture program, is this process is such an interesting one. It's sort of the same process I think of when we lay on our backs in the grass and look at the clouds and try to find images in clouds. This is a process of looking at work and looking at sort of paint on a piece of paper, watercolor, and finding images within it. And she does such a fantastic job of finding playful, whimsical creatures and characters in art. There's such a swimming quality of this work, and I'm so delighted to have it here at the Urbana Aquatic Center.
For me, with this piece, I really wanted to stay very organic and, you know, with very loose lines. A lot of curves, you know.
So when collaborating with CONVERGENT, what I tried to do was, I tried to see what CONVERGENT had already established. And I think as an artist, I have a very heavy hand. So I really tried to pull back and add to the conversation without overpowering the conversation. So I think I might have added the kente pattern, and I may have rearranged some of the butterflies, and I definitely added the more sepia tone grungy background, which is my aesthetic in speaking to the aesthetics of Afrofuturism and how we get to our Black liberated futures, and it's not always going to be clean, it's not always going to be easy, it's going to be gritty and glitchy, and I want that aesthetic to come through, but also want to keep it very vibrant and positive and inspirational.
Just the idea of having it in my hometown, in Urbana, where I was born and raised, and so it's really awesome to have the piece here and shown, and everyone can interact with it. And the size is really exciting with the plants and the buildings in the background.
I would hope that, you know, being a resident of Urbana, you know, people just seeing efforts for us to improve Urbana and make it look beautiful, and just also representation. Particularly for people of color to see images and art that look like them.
Even though I've lived in this town for over 40 years, seeing the different things that Urbana does to nourish art and to nourish artists, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this.
Definitely enriches our community and makes us appreciate living in Urbana, and welcomes everyone who comes downtown or to visit our city.
We're here on the corner of Vine and Main Street, right in downtown Urbana, where we hope you'll enjoy this vibrant work of art. We hope the utility box murals not only beautify the city, but allow us to create connection, expression, and see public art everywhere. This is going to be a summer of public art for the city of Urbana. If you'd like to follow along more about the Urbana Arts and Culture program, visit www.urbanaillinois.us/arts.